Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Corbin Russwin number PK-1070 pin kit is what it is. This is a very comprehensive pinning kit. Does a lot of work that you very likely will need to do when you're not dealing with high security or specific Pyramid Access 3 high security sort of material. This pin kit is going to allow you to service a variety of Corbin Russwin keying systems. Will also work with pre-System 70 and System 70. Contains all the pins required to combine standard, interchangeable core, and master ring cylinders. And it's for master ring that I own this kit. Accommodates System 70 and, again, non-System 70 in both 0.509 and 0.552 plug diameters in all of the key classes. Furnished with a reinforced steel case with combinating instructions on the inside of the lid, a separate removable two-sided chart contains pin lengths for all modern key classes, includes tweezers and both diameter plug followers. So this two-sided chart, this is going to be right out of the cylinder manual, the keying and cylinder manual from Corbin Russwin, and you can get to that document from below this video. There's a link to the manufacturer's page, and you'll be able to pull that up there. It's all there, but it is handy to have it in a single consolidated chart, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. And this is what the kit looks like. I'm going to switch camera views here so we can get a closer look at the kit itself. Okay, here's what the kit looks like. And basically it's a very simple kit in the sense that it has all of the required bottom pins. And one thing that I don't, one thing I wish is that all of the L pins are your bottom pins. And all the L pins run here, these two rows, and then up here. They're going to get from an L160 size all the way up to an L354 size. Okay? They are going to have, so those are all your bottom pins. They're going to have your top pins, build-up pins, master pins, whatever you need to call them for the application, starting from your M086, let's see here now, pardon me, M028, the entire bottom row, the entire top second row, the entire third row. You're going to get to M303, and then with an M320. Okay. You're going to have slide covers for use if you're doing master ring. If you're doing anything top loaded, you'll get your slide covers here. You have interchangeable core springs. You have standard springs. You have both of your plug followers, 0.509 and 552. If you're doing current master ring, it'll be 552. If you're doing high security, it's 552. Much of it's 509. You will get a set of tweezers. Okay. Cam screws. Spool pins, if I didn't already say spool pins. The 391 F23 ball bearings. Package of those. That covers all of the contents of the kit that are in here. Let's talk about a couple of the specialty items that are in here as well. Now that 391 F32 package of ball bearings, those are going to be used for construction keying is what they'll be used for. They're .045 diameter. Interestingly, though, they don't have included in this kit the .116 ball bearings for wear resistance, which would be nice to have included. For doing master ring, older master ring, very old master ring would have featured a ball bearing in each of the chambers. And then when you're pinning old master ring, it was a ball bearing in every chamber. On top of that would be a build-up pin. Okay, it wouldn't be a bottom pin with a point. It would be a flat-bottomed build-up pin. Later on, in the maybe mid-century, mid-20th century, they went to just ball bearings in the first two chambers because they were using disparate metals in the sense of having German silver keys but brass pin tumblers, so material would wear out, so they would use ball bearings. As better materials became available for pin tumblers, they removed the usage of ball bearings altogether, but they can still be used. That is a separate part number altogether. That part number is, I can actually tell you what that part number is. Forgive me, I'm simply looking it up. No, I have it here in the manual, the price list, I should say. That part number is 159F367, ball bearing for wear resistance. Those will be .116 thick. Again, those slide covers for interchangeable core work, for master ring work, those are there as well. There is another thing to point out. They jump from a M303, M192, all the way to M303. Okay, which is this pin here. Then they jump to an M320. Okay, so there's a large increment jump there. The M320 is used in master ring work when you want to block the master ring. So if you were doing a single-keyed SKD cylinder, if you just were not using the master ring concept at all in a master ring cylinder, just pinning the material to level 1, that M320 would be the pin to use. What's nice about this kit, rather than using a universal kit, is, well, first of all, a universal kit is not going to have the sizes necessary to get the job done. That's just the bottom line. In many of the key classes, you won't find the proper length of pins in the increment, so this kit will get that done. And based on my experience, the only thing they're missing from doing everything basically except high security are those ball bearings for wear resistance. It's just interesting they didn't include those, but they did include ball bearings for construction keying. Okay, I would have packed both of them in there, is what I would have done. However, it's also not 1930, so you're not seeing ball bearings used for wear resistance in cylinders. So, in all fairness to Corbin Russwin, they probably realized people don't need them to begin with or use them. Let's get a look at the information on the inside of the cover of what we're dealing with here. Tip that camera up a little bit. Okay, so basically this incredibly elegant chart talks about how to pin everything. You've got standard cylinders. The thing of note there is you're always going to have a 171 top pin. Okay, obviously, you know, shallowest cut is your bottom pin. You know, this video is not on how to key locks. So what of note here is the 171 is a top pin all the time, as it is in master ring. Okay, so you're always going to use that. And the length of the spool pin is a J172, which would certainly not cause cylinder failure, but you definitely don't want to use spool pins in all chambers. If you're going to use spool pins, use them in all chambers except the last chamber from the face of the cylinder, let's say in the 6th or 7th chamber, because as you insert the key, those spool pins will allow a micro amount of rotation on your cylinder plug, You want that last chamber to keep that cylinder plug straight so that you insert the key completely. So be mindful of that. Talking about pinning master ring, you'll always have a bottom pin and you'll always have a build-up pin. You may or may not have a master pin. You will if it's a level 3 system where there's a master and a grandmaster. Interchangeable core, okay, all the pins in here are again included. If you're going to delve into pinning this or this, you're going to want to get to the cylinder manual, which I'll show you how to get to in a moment. Use the pin stack illustrations shown to determine the number size of each pin in the stack. Locate the chart on the separate two-sided data sheet, which applies to the keyway and depth system you are working with. Determine the plug diameter, which size are you working with, and then follow the appropriate chart. Use the chart to convert pin numbers from step 1 into thousandths of an inch. So what they didn't do here, let's say that you need a number 3 bottom pin. Well, what class are you working in? What plug diameter are you working in? And what does for a number 3 bottom pin, what is the length of that bottom pin? Select the appropriate L length. It's L for bottom, and then just the decimal size is all that it's going to really be here. So it's quite simple and straightforward. You know, what I've done in other kits, I'll just go in here. Well, you really can't with Corbin Russwin. You can mark, I suppose you might come up with a system, but because you have so many key classes and so many, and the 2, of course, plug diameters, it's hard to get in here and mark everything because of all the key classes. Now, speaking of that, let's move to that two-sided chart that they are referring to. Now, that two-sided chart is just really a great time-saving tool. It takes the information out of the cylinder manual that you would otherwise be flipping and basically give it to you all in just, you know, here it is. You know, DH class. So I've recently done a project in Z class system 70. And what they're showing you here is, as we said earlier, I need a number 3 bottom pin in a 509. So that's going to be a 217. Look for your L217. Okay, it's just that simple. Over here, you have your 552. Again, 509, 552. Okay, build-up pins and master pins are not the same. They're not used interchangeably. Okay, what I mean is a number 3 build-up pin is not a number 3 master pin, naturally. So this chart, Z class, X class. Okay, so if you know your keyway and you know your system, you've got what you have with the system is going to be you have pre-system or non-system 70 and then system 70. Pre and non-system 70 is a 2-step system. Where parity it controls how you create a key bitting array. In 1970, they converted to System 70, which is a single step. Parity doesn't matter in single step, and that allowed them, I don't know why they switched to it. The clear advantage is a single step in general will allow you an additional exponent when you are creating changes within a system. So that could be the reason they did that. I don't know why they did it necessarily, but that would be a reason. But if you know your keyway, you'll be able to get into your class. Okay? And then you'll get into what's my plug what's your keyway? We'll back you into your class. What is your plug diameter? Okay, that you're dealing with. What pre-system 70 or system 70, and what's your plug diameter? At that point, you're ready to roll. You're ready to key locks. And this simple chart takes a 100-page document, and of course it's not 100 pages of all that stuff, but makes it relevant for the kit. You don't need to see, you know, high security Corbin Russwin when you can't even key that with this kit. So they're giving you the systems that you can key with this kit. Okay, it is an expensive kit, but like all things locksmithing related, locksmithing tools are expensive. So let's take a look at how you can find that cylinder manual now. Okay, so from the page, wherever you find it, Corbin Russwin here, If you go to manufacturers down below and then search for Corbin Russwin, you'll get to the manufacturer's page within the site. Now on this page, as it at least currently appears, there's a lot of links here. Okay. What's cool over here is some really old catalogs. You want to see Corbin Russwin locks from 1905? Have at it. That's a scan of the entire P.F. Corbin catalog dating that year. Okay. Other interesting documents here. Down here, up here, I should say, are encyclopedic documents. The file that we're talking about is called Corbin Russwin Cylinder Manual. Okay, and that file is going to allow you to thoroughly absorb everything Corbin Russwin related. This is the single most comprehensive document produced by any manufacturer that will lay plainly and freely to all how their stuff works. They don't show you restricted keyway cross sections, nor should they, but this is equal to the keys to the kingdom. So for instance, we were talking about master ring earlier. I know that's about page 38 or so. Starting on page 37, combinating master ring. Okay, that will take you into all of it. You probably won't ever do that, but if you do, it's all here. How to create a key bitting array is here. Another method of creating a key bitting array. High security is here, and interchangeable core, I think, was right before master ring. The issue with the Corbin Russwin manual is that it is 108 pages long. There is no way to absorb all of the tidbits, the juicy pieces of information, without reading the entire document, of which I have, and I've gone back and referenced it countless other times. There's no way to understand Corbin Russwin unless you have an understanding of Corbin Russwin. There's just too much going on. That gives you a history of everything going back to day one. This elegant breakdown showing you who, what, where, when, and why. And continues on with how to key the stuff, showing you all of the keyways, getting you into keying mass interchangeable core, new and original style, mastering, high security material, showing you how the pins work together. We'll get you into a Brinks function cylinder, which basically will allow the user, if you have a certain key, that will allow you to turn that cylinder clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on how you prep it, but only in that direction. So let's say that you have an employee that you want them to be able to unlock the door. You can set that cylinder to only unlock the door, but they can't lock it. Or more likely, vice versa. They can go in and lock the door, but they cannot unlock it. Okay? A Brinks function is for doing that. They talk about how to create a blockout function. You have a key, a rogue key that's out there. They can prep a system by which when that key is used, it will lock out instantaneously. You will also get into construction keying is in here as well. How a certain type of hotel function cylinder would have worked. Padlock information, obviously. Construction master keying is here. That needs to be studied because it's different. Then they get into, and this is where the little tidbits come in. You know, what, in order to understand all of this stuff, the ball bearings we talked about earlier for wear resistance, it doesn't have to be only mastering. You can use it anywhere that you have wear as a problem. These are the part numbers for the balls. That's what I wish they had included in the kit. Spool pins are here. Again, that 320 is a magic number when talking about blocking out the master ring. Also, okay, forgive me, just looking up the next thing to discuss. You're going to then get into all of the key classes, and they're going to start here, the 65th page, page 62 of this manual, and it will continue on. Okay, everything that can be published is published. Okay, they're not going to show you again those restricted keyways, like if you're doing a Z-class, DH system. Restricted keyways not published for security reasons. Okay, this is it. This is what you need. If you're a Fromen user, which is a key machine that doesn't care about 1, 2, 3, or 4, all it cares about is what's my dimension from the shoulder stop to the first cut and what's my depth. That's all that machine cares about. It's all here. The max is here, maximum adjacent cut specification, your increment, the fact that it's single step, other information about it, telling you that high security is available in those key sections as well. That will get you into all of the possible material, well beyond the 2-page chart. I find in the appendix they get into conversion parts. You're dealing with Corbin and Russwin, P.F. Corbin, Russell, Irwin and Russell Company, or Russell and Irwin Company, a company that has been around since basically the Civil War. So they therefore have a lineage that is complicated and long and deep. And the fact that this catalog exists to help you to be able to bridge what needs to be done. I have clients of mine that are either building engineers or they're handyman kind of folks or they're locksmiths, and they get dumped into dealing with some Corbin Russwin that they are lost. And I find that the being lost portion of that really is dependent on whether or not you can navigate the waters of this page. What the heck class am I in? Am I pre or system 70? What class am I in? Was it Corbin or Russwin? A 0 in one system is a 0 cut. A 0 in the other system is a 10 cut. So understanding how all that works, this is the hardest part. Once you know where you're navigating, you can get to that depth and spacing chart and kind of cut your keys at least and understand what pins you're using. I remember pinning stuff. I was pinning, I think, a 59 or a 60, thinking that I was dealing in an X class, and of course it didn't work right at all for me. So it was therefore a disaster. I was able to pin the cylinders, but I didn't understand. I know that I was dealing in system 70. Well, I didn't realize it, but I was in a single step system. So working without the knowledge is, frankly, it's emasculating. Not being able to understand what you're dealing with is a very scary feeling, because you're not able to command what you're doing. If you don't understand how it works, as you probably know in the world of locksmithing, you run the risk of creating all kinds of problems that you are not even aware why it would be a problem. You don't even know of the problem, okay? Keeping the TMK out of a KBA. If you're not sure that you're supposed to do that, you've got a problem day one. This manual freely and openly gives you all the information necessary. Let's finish this video up. So Corbin Russwin does a great job. They have lots of different kits available for their applications. In the full product catalog, I would recommend that you search for PK-1070. It will get you to the explanation of what that is. And I'm going to read it for you now. Actually, let's just hop to that page in the catalog. Now, from the manufacturer's page in the site, you can scroll down to the full product catalog. That file will load, and at that point, once it loads, you can search for Control F PK-1070, and that is a document that is several hundreds of pages long. Forgive me, it's 1,425 pages. Eventually, you'll find the reference to the Deluxe pin kit. Gives you an overview. But what's really great about getting to that page in the catalog is it's immediately on page 1 of service equipment. Shows you the other kits that are available and the description of those. I own the security kit because of doing some security work. But the bottom line is you need 2 kits. Okay? Continuing to scroll through the service equipment part of the catalog will get you the part numbers for all the pins. Okay? Top pins were M, if you retain that information. That spool pin is J. They have more than one length of spool pins. They have 4 or 5. Master pins are M, but again, a master 4 is not the same as a top 4 or a build-up pin 4. I don't think that there's a 4 top pin. Your bottom pins are L designations. Okay. Those are your construction balls, 0.045. Security pins, should you need to order those. Pyramid. Okay. More equipment. Key gauge. Plug follower. Interchangeable core mortise cylinder housing installation tool. Cylinder parts. That would be very appropriate for to be there. Key systems and policies as it pertains to restricted material, what the factory's looking for. Then, really great, Assa Abloy, Yale does it as well. You want to talk about how to key stuff? Here's the language by which we're going to use to speak about it. So a great way to start. The only level below this, they're starting at level 2 and 3. Level 1 just means keyed alike or keyed differently. Okay, there's no master key. Level 1 would just be, you know, cylinders that were keyed without any level 2 or master key. It gets detailed, and frankly, understanding all of this is a much greater undertaking because you really need to study how change keys are derived in a master, grandmaster, great grandmaster system, how the key bitting array is divided to achieve those levels, and how you might create an engineer's key or any of these selective master keys and how you would pull that out of the key bitting array. That is a topic best taken up by those that are experts in that field, and this person is not an expert. And that really summarizes everything. Let's finish up this video for real this time. That does indeed complete this PK-1070. I find that contacting Corbin Russwin for relatively simple questions and technical support is handled immediately through their website. Click on chat. Okay, really great at tech support. What is the part number of the ball bearing used for wear resistance? They have a key records department, and I have spoken to a person there in the past who has a reasonably firm understanding of the topic that we were discussing, which I appreciated very much. And they have this broad and deep and long lineage of these key systems that go back to the 19th century. And the fact that that document exists that will help you put it all together. If you're not a locksmith, you're probably never going to encounter a cylinder from 1950 or 1901. But if you are, and you're in a major metropolitan area, especially in the Northeast, or in a major manufacturing town, Detroit, Chicago, it's very likely you'll bump into this stuff. The Empire State Building, built in 1932, 33, whatever the exact year was, that was all Corbin Russwin. Well, it was all Corbin. All of it. The entire job, all mastering, in fact, when that was built. Corbin laid claim to a major manufacturing city in the United States where every facility was their cylinder work. Every. It boggles the mind to think how far back that company reaches. I think only Yale goes back further, and not much further. Anyway, so rely on them. Hope this pin kit discussion helped you understand it. If there are any questions on the pin kit or any other aspect of Corbin Russwin key work, I would be thrilled to try to help dispel any confusion, because I know that I've had my overwhelming share of it when trying to learn their system. My name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. Thank you.